Okay. And then one last one from James. He asks, how does the Orthodox view of baptism apply to the current schism between Moscow and Constantinople, or is this not an issue? And secondly, how would you answer the charge that the Orthodox view is Donatist?
Well, the Donatist view has not got anything to do with what we've really been talking about, because the Donatist view would say that because the bishop was personally unworthy, or the priest was personally unworthy, that there were no sacraments that happened. And so that would be kind of like those that criticized bishops in the Soviet period and said, well, that bishop was, he sold out the church or whatever, so therefore their sacraments were invalid. That would be a Donatist position. But what we're talking about is how people are received into the church, which is a different question.
Mm-hmm. And then the other part about, how does this apply now with the differences between Moscow and Constantinople?
Well, I don't think that it really comes into play directly in terms of Constantinople itself and the Russian Church, because it's the schism that is in place right now is not anything like a final schism at this point. It may become that, but it's not there yet. But when if you're talking about like the Ukrainian schismatics, I suppose that gets into the question of whether there's a valid baptisms or whether people are really being united to the church in the schismatic group. Mm-hmm. And I would say that it's definitely at least a question mark. I would say no. But again, let's say you have some old babushka in some village where the church has been taken over by the schismatics and she doesn't know any better. I wouldn't say that means that she's going to hell either. I mean, that God will judge everybody based on what they know and not on what they don't know. So it's not really for us to say, but we can say that group is schismatic. And we certainly can and have said that Constantinople had no basis or right to step in there and recognize them.